Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another 12 Days of Stitchmas 2025 video. Today features the day 5 Stitchmas box as well as the 2024 day 5 Stitchmas box. I decided with today's adorable little mug, if you've been here, you know how I feel about mugs, that we had to break out the Classic Tales book set again. So if you watched my Craftoween series, you know how much I absolutely love that Classic Tales book set. I feel like it is a classic, pun intended, and I think it's perfect for all of our crafting. So we're going to create this adorable little scene, starting with the Flurry of Snowflakes 3D embossing folder. I did emboss that on some beautiful light blue cardstock. This is the Windy color cardstock, and then I splattered it with a little sparkle ink. We're going to then take our mug. This is the stitching portion of the 2025 day 5 box or little window. And we're going to stitch the tree design on the mug. I decided I've been loving this color of blue for holiday this year, but I wanted to really pull in our traditional reds and greens. And so you'll notice a lot of, there's greenery, there's little holly berries and leaves, there's going to be red books and the little red and white peppermint stick and the little berry branch with red berries on it. And it really was kind of a fun take on that color combination. So even if you're really loving a certain color combination, just by maybe introducing 1 or 2 colors or just some little accents, it completely changes the look. So I really am loving this. The other thing about the stitching of the trees on this today, I love these. Another idea I had, I just didn't think it worked with what I'd already had planned out today, is stitching each tree in a different color. Maybe you want to do like, you could do a white tree in the middle and red out on the side on a green mug, or on a red mug you do some green and white trees, or whatever it might be. A pink mug with like a red and a white and a darker pink. Lots of ways to customize it and to stitch them all in different colors. Yes, I stitched all of mine in the same color of floss. I talk about this a lot during especially here during Stitchmas, that I am a needle worker, so I do have over dyed floss. This is one I've been using a lot. It is not a pure white floss. It's called 12 grain, so it's kind of got some over dyed, maybe some ivories and taupey undertones to it. It still looks very white, but it will have a bit of variegation. I don't know if you can see it too much in this. The other flosses I'm going to use on my second card today are very over dyed and have a lot of movement in them. So I'm going to stitch all 3 of my trees with this white floss, just like I have done throughout the series. I like to die cut a second mug and then glue that second or the first mug with the stitching, not mug, whatever shape it is. Today it's a mug. The first shape to the background shape just as a nice backer. It gives a nice solid look to this. And I do want to tell you, if you do not want to stitch on this, this is a great opportunity to die cut the mug shape, the backer, with a contrast color, pop out all the holes in your Christmas trees and just layer it on top. That would be adorable. It'd have that kind of pierced type of look to it, and you're done. You could assemble the rest of your pieces, no stitching required. So we are going to quickly put the rest of this together today. You can see that I have laid out the window, or the little, I tear off the windows from the Stitchmas box and then I punch holes in them and put them on a ring. I like to kind of keep them as a guide of how everything goes together. So you can see that laying there, plus the dies from today's box. They're going to work great. You could mix this with other mugs. Think the mugs from the July 2025 clubs, the Santa and the deer and the penguin, the gingerbread. You could mix this mug into those. You could do it with all kinds of things that you might have in your stash. You could die cut and stitch multiples of these and put them on your card. So what I'm doing is quickly putting the hot cocoa, kind of slopped outside of the mug in this case. I got my peppermint stick, the whipped topping, of course, and then I'm going to let that sit for a second. and we're going to assemble our books. Now, one thing, if you watched my Craft-A-Ween series that you probably noticed is I like to incorporate my sentiment into the books a lot of times because I feel like it serves almost as a sentiment strip, but in a book form. So it becomes part of the scene. So my imagining is this is a stack of Christmas books. They're sitting on the shelf or you've got your hot cocoa and you're sitting down with your Christmas mugs or your Christmas devotionals, whatever it might be. And you have your cup of hot cocoa. So that was kind of my feeling or my inspiration for this card. And of course, one of the books we are going to feature a sentiment. So for my sentiment today, I am using the Country Christmas Banner and Sentiments dies. So I am actually using one of the BetterPress press plates, and I am using one of the dies that come in this set. So it's from the Country Christmas set that was released this year, but it fits perfectly on here. And I really love the sentiment, wishing you peace, love, and joy. I did that in a matte silver foil. And of course, the die that I used to die cut that looks great as the spine of the book, even when you're not using the layering pieces from Classic Tales, which I love. Then all of my greenery here is from the wonderful Barn Star Wreath etched dies from the Country Christmas collection. So the little berry wreath, the little holly berries and leaves, they're really tiny. I love them. The pine cones, so cute. I like that little addition. And again, that's another way to incorporate those reds and greens into the card. The marshmallows are all from the Day 5 box. So now we're adding those like they spilled outside of the mug. I actually die cut a few more of these to add a couple to the mug as well. I did die cut another little holly berry and leaves, except this time I did my holly berries in glittery white because I felt like the spine of this bottom book needed a little bit more embellishing. And once I have all of this stuff in place, I am going to take some opal gems and we're going to scatter a few of those throughout the card, the snowflakes in the background of the design, and on the spines of the book in a couple of places just to emphasize some of that die cut look. It's one of the quickest and easiest ways to add those wonderful little finishing touches. And just like that, you have an adorable Christmas card. I love this card so much. So as a bonus, I am incorporating the Day 5 2024 dies as well, and Day 5 is this wonderful star. Now, funny enough, it really is similar to the Barn Star Wreath etched dies from this year, from that Country Christmas collection, with the exception it doesn't like fold. I do have a video where I did an ornament during Christmas in July. So I will link to that at the end of this video in case you're interested, and you can watch that. But I love the stitching on this. And of course, the Country Christmas Barn Star does not have stitching, but I thought the elements worked really well, not only for my scene with the mug from the 2025 dies, but for this. And so I pulled those same colors that I used for the first card, and we're going to do that for our second card. So I'm just stitching each of the little spokes of this. So you can see there, I have all of my 2024 dies on a ring. I've punched holes in them. You can see the dies on camera. And I'm probably knotting this here, but then I'm just going to come from the outside stitching holes and end in that center stitching hole for each. I did pick 4 different colors of overdyed floss. The gray point of the star I did in that 12 grain color from Classic Colorworks. The 2 blues were done in the same color combo, and then the green and the red, I picked 2 different overdyed flosses for those. Once I have stitched each section, then I am going to simply pop those sections up with 2 small foam adhesive squares on my base white star. So for this card, this would make a great tag, and kind of my original feeling was I might make it a tag. I did die cut 2 of the base stars, thinking I would sandwich like a little cord or something in between the 2 to hang it like a like an ornament or a tag. But then I decided I did want to put it on a card, and it's just going to be the focal point. So this one looks much more simplistic, maybe a little bit more elegant and a little less funsy like the first one. But then I'm going to do some foiling for my background and my sentiment, and I love how this is really the focal point, and I love that the elements from the Country Christmas Barn Star work really great for our scene building on the first card, but also to decorate the top of the star for our second. So we are going to finish stitching these, and then we're going to put it all together. And again, the stitching is really easy. I do notice that I did not get my stitching in frame very well for this, so I do apologize. I will try to do better in the future. Sometimes I start stitching and I don't realize that I pull it closer and closer and closer to my face. The only thing that made this one take a little bit more time, of course, was the fact that I changed the floss color from point to point of the star. You could do them all in the same color. And just like I mentioned with the mug, you also do not have to stitch this at all. It would look cute just die cutting these from the same or different colors like I did here, and then layering them on a contrasted color of cardstock. Like if you did all of these pieces, perhaps in one color, and then you did your backer in another piece, you can die cut them from the star and make more of a frame shape, and then layer it over the solid piece. You could inlay each of the shapes into the star if you do it that way as well. This is a really versatile piece. And then if you remember my day 3, where I did the spinner tree, was it day 3? I think, yes. The day 3, 2025, where I did the spinner tree, you could do that with this very easily. This is another shape that if you wanted to make the star spinner, which I did also consider that, but I didn't want to do the same thing, so I didn't. Although there's no promises, I might not do it in the future. I think that also would look really, really cute to have a star spinner on your card, don't you? Oh, I think that would be amazing. Okay, we're going to adorn the top of our star now with the paper bow, some greenery, and one of the little berry branches. I felt like that was kind of enough. I really want the star to be the focal point, but I like that little additional embellishment. For the background of this card today, we are going to use, I believe, I can't remember what month, I was going to tell you, but we're using the Post Edge Expression BetterPress Plate of the Month. It was from like April or May of 2025, I believe. And I am going to foil the design of the postage edge and that kind of grungy text on some fog cardstock using white foil. Now, my image wasn't perfect in all areas, and I kind of actually liked it because I felt like it looked like grungy-ish stamping. So I left it. Besides, the text is kind of grungy. It's not something you're actually reading, and you know how much I love a good text background. You don't have to use these together either. These two pieces, these two BetterPress plates are actual fantastic basics, and of course they are made for BetterPress, but I use them for foiling. And doesn't the white foil look amazing on that light fog gray cardstock? Oh, I love it. Then we are taking from Yana's new Christmas Cheer collection, one of her sentiments. It reads Christmas at Christmas time and all year through. So thankful to have great friends like you. I couldn't read that very well. I foiled that with matte silver on the fog gray cardstock, and then we're popping that underneath. So super elegant. I was going for a much more elegant look with this card. I've popped up my star and my sentiment on this foiled background with foam adhesive. And then, of course, we'll finish with a little scattering of opal gems because, of course, we have to finish with some gems. And it looks so pretty. And that is going to be it, friends. So let's take a look at both of the finished cards today featuring Day 5, 2025 and 2024 dies. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. The supplies are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly love sharing creativity with this amazing community of crafters. A special thank you goes out to my wonderful Patreon members. I appreciate you all so much. If you'd like to join us on Patreon, you'll find the link in the video description below. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do and enjoy exclusive content, behind-the-scenes updates, and extra perks. There's something for everyone, and we'd love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.